I burped.
Fair enough.
That's now on the recording. Hi, hello, everybody. Welcome to Dissonant Waves episode 84. My name is Dominic. A couple things happened to me this week. Got a new laptop. Well, that happened last week, but I'm trying to make it our primary recording capture thing now. I also maybe broke my arm or sprained my wrist, something like that. Been a good week
And
for
he's
me.
recording for it. What a trooper.
How are we all doing? I got some ice here.
I'm pretty stoned, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm doing good. I'm nice and sober. I've had a lot of exercise today due to a bunch of errands I had to run, including getting groceries and getting some frames from some paintings. And I'll tell you what, walking home with all those in two hands, ugh. Not doing that again, but I will unfortunately be doing that again, and I'll get arms like Dominic's.
Were you at the grocery store?
I just had to get groceries, you know.
Were you buying eggs and toast?
Nah, not eggs. Not the eggs and toast. We've already got plenty of eggs, and I don't buy toast. No one buys toast. No one's still told Rainbow Kitten Surprise that you buy bread.
You buy bread to make the toast. Sometimes you gotta shorten the middleman there. Just buy the toast.
Well, you can buy like mini toast in stores.
You can buy Texas toast.
Oh yeah, I fucking love Texas
But
toast.
I could also nut, and look what I chose.
This is true. I'm going to plug in my charger.
Fair
How are we all
enough.
doing? Oh, if I sound strange, it's because my arm hurts.
I will take over Dominic's introduction, and we have 3 albums to do today. One of them's a remixed album. That's Adam Freeland's Cope Remixed, a 2.25 hour fucking remix album. Thank you goddamn much, Dominic. That was totally not a track to go through. We also have something that's thankfully much shorter, Pony Time's Go Find Your Own.
Yeah.
And the cream of the crop, Black Country New Roads, fantastic latest effort, Ants from Up There. Which one do we want to go through first? I'm looking to go through the remix album first, because, like, why, Dominic?
We can talk about that. So, the reason why actually is for the joke at the end of the episode, which isn't going to be that funny. It's going to lead to an album I don't like as much, but I like the joke. It's fun wordplay. But
Okay.
yeah, Freeland's Cope remixed.
I can respect just going for a joke.
But I mean, I thought it'd be fun to like do a remix album, come back to this, because I think
I was
originally
playing Pokemon Arceus whilst I'm sorry to interrupt here, but I'm
Yeah.
going to say this one. If we're doing jokes here, I was playing Pokemon Arceus whilst listening to this, and I wasn't doing any main missions or anything for Arceus. I was literally just doing the whole grind to get all these Pokemon research levels up, blah blah blah, so I can get the next star. And that was less grindy than listening to this fucking remix album.
I can understand that.
The original is so much better.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting. I've had both of these albums for about 10 years now, and I come to the opposite conclusion.
I think there's a bunch of remixes on here that it's like, they're fine, that they're competent. There's no big artist on here that I go like, oh, that's he or she's done a remix, or they've done a remix or a cover or something. That would be really like, if I'm not mistaken, there's no covers on here. There's no like someone's done a surprise punk cover of like Under Control or something.
No.
Like I would kill if there was fucking Death from Above doing Under Control. If that was on there, I'd fucking be like, oh fuck. This is awesome, but we don't get anything like that. We just get a bunch of remixes, which are fine, but
there's the Evil 9 Graveyard Smash instrumental version of Under Control, which is like the really interesting, like non-vocal, like weird thriller-esque version.
I mean, it's not to say that people aren't doing their own thing with this, or it's not like ever kind of interesting, but it's also like, well, it's just nothing on here was interesting enough for me to care. It's just the kindest way I can put it.
That's fair. I don't know. I thought like some of the going into like this is like 2009. This is like the birth of dubstep, so we're getting a lot of like dub mixes and things like that.
Listening
to those were
Only
cool.
a Fool Can Die AC Slater dub remix.
And the High Rankin remixes were dub remixes too. I think the one for was it Strange Things, and then he did one for Do You.
I'm just taking a look at all. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I thought those were interesting to listen to, kind of given the context of, yeah, almost dubsteppy. We're getting there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's a
talk
very
about the early 2010s though.
it's a very strange remix album, and like there's 2 discs, like there's 24 tracks.
Mm.
But like the first half is so front loaded with so many long songs.
Mm.
And the second half is like shorter songs, but a lot of them are very low energy.
I mean, there was just a couple moments on here though. It's like when you go short songs, long songs, there was enough moments in it where it just felt like the song was going too long. And I mean, a main purpose for remixing, and this isn't said as an insult. This is just actually what it's usually done.
Mhm.
There's a shit ton of remixes that just get done to be played at clubs. Like a DJ will go, look, oh, I did this remix of a song and stuff, so I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
To kind of dance to, and it will fit in their mix a lot better, and it'll be a lot better time and stuff like that. And even when I'm criticizing, I'm just criticizing and listening to this as an album. When it comes to these stuff being played as a mix or anything like that, I would probably bang my head to this, or I don't know, had that little kind of quiet dancer, because I'm not really a big dancer because I'm a fucking introvert. But still, I would appreciate it a lot more in that kind of major mix setting that's not in this kind of style. But like just listening to this as an album, it was just really, really hard to get through.
Yeah,
And
I can see that.
Yeah.
it's a shame, because I wanted to be a bit more interested in, because this is the first remix album that we've done. Like, I don't think we've really covered anything kind of like a remix album or a covers album or anything like that.
Not quite, no.
We've done compilations and stuff, and we've done
Some
covers.
covers,
I'm pretty
yes.
sure,
Yes.
but we haven't done like a full album of it. So it's
Yeah.
a bit like, yeah, I wanted this to be a lot more interesting than it actually was, but it just, I don't know, just really came and went.
I don't know. I thought, like, from what I remember, your reactions to the original album was like, it's good, it's fine, it's like not amazing, but like
Yeah,
competent.
Yeah.
it's been a while since I've listened, but I would probably still hold that view. I can remember when I was talking about it with my brother and Pete, and like those two were just so much more aware of this album than I was, and I wonder if I was literally just that little bit too young, that I just missed out on the
Maybe.
generation that was fucking big into Freeland.
Maybe.
Because
Maybe.
like in 2009 when it came out, I would have been in year 6, and they were forcing down whatever fucking major pop song they could for us to fucking listen to in primary school and shit. We weren't quite in the high school starting to find edge style yet.
Fair, yeah.
I was, well, granted, in year 6 I was in the I want everyone to die and listen to emo phase still, but
Yeah.
here or there it wasn't quite in that, so I probably missed out when this was the big thing, which is like, for you, Dominic, you're probably in that generation where this was like a big thing for a bit.
Yeah, but I found it on my own independently from everybody else.
Mm.
So I never knew how big Freeland was. It was just something I
Fair
happened
enough,
to come
fair
across.
Yeah.
I believe one of the reasons is that one of the songs is in Need for Speed or something.
Oh, Res, but also the songs in Need for Speed, yeah.
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 I mean, there are some songs in here I do find interesting experiments. A lot of like some of the Borderline versions were interesting just from how they changed the context. I think it was the Grumb remix of Borderline that sounds like an 80s version almost. With that like a lot more synth play and like more repetitive vocals.
Mm.
I thought that was cool. I don't know, like Borderline's like the one song I for sure don't think has translated well to being remixed, because I think that original track is very, very good.
Yeah.
Like Brody Dale's vocals are so good that I just don't think getting rid of them and like making it an instrumental really helps anything.
Yeah.
But
I
meant
get
to
where
be
you're coming
currently distracted by people who are constantly posting memes of the Kanye v Pete Davidson and saga, and it's
such
just,
a weird beef.
Oh, it's so
Oh my
fucking
God.
funny as an out, like
It
this is
pretty
a
much
neutral
is.
to a neutral to it. Like there's this picture right now. It's Civil War, kind of meme. It's supposed to be a kind of whole joke about it.
Yeah.
And on one side, it's Kanye, Drake. I can't remember who the other people here. I think it's Snoop and Travis. And on the other side, there's Cuddy, Kim, Pete Davidson, Billy, and Taylor. And
Okay.
Kanye's reposted it on Instagram and just says the internet has still not found a decent picture of Skeet.
Fair.
It's so fucking it's so goddamn down a rabbit hole, and it's just it's I don't know, man. It's just really fucking funny to watch this as an intro.
Honestly, I respect it.
Yeah. Someone is just now messaging me saying stop laughing at Kanye. I just got a random buzz on my phone at that. Anyway, I'm a bit distracted, but that just
That's
goes
fair.
to show how much I really had to actually talk about on this album.
I
I don't want to insult anyone who's made a mix in here because, like I said as well, everything's competent. It's like fine mixes. It would be a fun time. It's like really, I don't know. It's gonna be hard to find a remix album, which I think is truly interesting to talk about, though.
I guess it's kind of the Lauv problem of like Lauv was bad, but also there was just so many songs that it was just a sludge to get through, a trudge.
Like,
Yeah.
I'd prefer this to Love, though. That's not an issue.
Right.
Much,
Yes.
yeah, no contest.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, like other things that I just think are interesting to note at least are just songs just like Strange Things and Under Control just get done so many times. Like the last two songs are just Under Control remixes over back to back.
Although, actually, if you want a good hot take here, though, Dominic.
Yeah.
If we don't include the bonus track, which I do like of this on the record, I'm going to compare it to. I do think this is miles ahead of Crystal Castles 2.
Damn.
Damn.
But that's just kind of because I don't really like Crystal Castles music outside of Not in Love.
I have no comment on that
Only
myself.
Not in Love is
only
such a
the
good
Robert
track.
Smith version.
Yes,
And only
obviously.
the Robert Smith version.
No, yeah.
And that's a bonus. It's not really on the album. So.
Well, that's the thing is like the version that I have of the album that is the version, the Not in Love was replaced for a lot of that. So I am curious where is it original and where is it the other version, because the original version is like the worst track in that album. The bonus version is way better. But that's neither here nor there. Crystal Castles is a lot of things. This to me, this podcast, everything.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, at least kind of dissecting an album like this, like kind of having so many people like bring you different versions to kind of have a different perspective on what these songs are, even because I think Adam Freeland has a very interesting style and remixes, or not remixes, but like mixes his songs in certain ways that are like very 2009, but you know are fairly interesting. I think like we said, his album is solid. But hearing so many people do different takes on his songs, and I think in some ways improving them, like there are several songs in here I'd probably put on over the originals any day. And I kind of wish he didn't produce this his own out, or like he wasn't as involved with it. I wish other people did more than he did. Like we talked about too, there's not like a ton of big name DJs. You know, there's no DJ Shadow, there's no Skrillex or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
I don't mind, especially this is 2009 as well. I mean, a lot of the recent ones, like Skrillex, didn't really make big until 2 years later. I guess there could have probably been a Dead Mouse around this time. I think that probably would have been one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
2009.
yeah,
That's when I think that's when Ghost and stuff blew up. But I think it blew up when it came out, but still. So, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of happy though that if we were going to choose a remix album, we would do something like this first, because we can kind of gradually go on better to looking for a good... Like, say if we found the best remix album and did that first, something like this, I would just have a shit ton of things to compare it to, and I'd just fucking probably... I'd probably trash it till the cows came home, and I don't live on a farm, so...
The Chicks does, though, almost.
Yeah, I live across from cows, so...
Yeah. But... during this kind of first, I reckon this does at least set a good standard, because whilst I am kind of uninterested in this album, whilst I think it does drag and stuff like that, like a lot of remix albums kind of do, because you get a lot of the same stuff over and over and over and over, because they're compilations, like they're not really supposed to actually be judged as an album, but I'm going to do that anyway, because that's the whole point of this podcast.
Yeah.
Like
I think this sets the standard,
Sure.
and I don't want us to discourage us from doing remix albums, but I hope that when we do it next, we do find something that's a lot more interesting as a compilation.
That's totally fair,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I always like expanding things just to keep bringing new things to the table, so we don't get bored of this.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
And
Yeah.
and if this is more boring, I do apologize, I guess, but
Nah, I mean, and there was
We'll
one song
survive.
that I thought for 5 seconds was a Pendulum remix, so that almost made me very happy, but it wasn't.
I remember.
I can't remember. It was a drum and bass track. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, there was a couple. Like, there was one that like became drum and bass. I think later on.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when I was younger, like I remember I downloaded this and Cope, and like this I didn't listen to as much. I thought it was really overbloated and kind of just a lot to handle versus the original. And for whatever reason, in like the last 10 years, I've switched where it's like Cope seems so basic and these seem so much more interesting to me now.
Oh, the only thing worth of noting from this album now is that Dominic is a switch.
Well, that was never a question.
Fair enough.
But
But we needed proof in writing, you know.
And in audio form, sure. Yes.
It's on the pod now.
It's on the pod, just like Neutral Milk Hotel is a ska band.
Yep.
Hell yeah. I've got nothing else to say. Has anyone else got anything else to say?
No, I don't. The original is a lot better, I think.
Look, it's alright if we go short with these first two albums because I'm gonna have a full-on fucking orgasm. Not even nerdgasm, just an orgasm to Black Country. So
I wish there was more variety in a way. Like there's like several strange things, several under controls. Like then there's just songs that were not covered. Like Best Fish Tacos and Ensenada was not on here. That's one of my favorite tracks on Cope. So wish that was covered. Wish that was like more looked at. Silent Speaking again. That's a cool kind of counterpoint to Man Cry. I wish that was also looked at more. But it's over 10 years old now. This album can't go back.
Yeah.
Favorite. Like I said, I think the Evil 9 Graveyard Smash instrumental version of Under Control is a really fun version of that song and probably one I'd put on any day. Sorry, burping. Wow.
You're all good. You're all good.
Yeah, you're fine. We all burp.
Yeah, we all do things. And the high ranking remix of like Do You and stuff was fun too. I like those. Least favorite was probably somewhere around the Anti-Raid Do You remix or like the Rock On No Such Thing remix. Like that whole section was so much low energy that like when we got to Only a Fool Can Die finally, like it just brought everything back and was so much better.
All right.
Roll credits, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Trix, do you want to introduce the next one?
No one has these favorites at all.
No,
really.
Damn.
It's like a low medium album for me.
All right, fair.
So our next album is Pony Time. Go Find Your Way. Go Find Your Own.
Yeah.
There you go. Go Find Your Own. And I stumbled across these back in college and I listened to them since, and they're fun.
You really robotic-sized yourself.
Yeah, it wasn't too robotic, more you just cut out a lot there, but I think we got the gist of it, so you discovered them back in college.
Yeah, and I just think it's fun.
I mean, it's interesting being a two-piece and having, a lot of music kind of come out of that. They're no Origami Angel, perhaps, but...
They actually kind of really reminded me of Lightning Bolt, actually. Like, they weren't as hard, and they were definitely a lot more melodic, but, like, it kind of just, the sound of how they went sounded more like a Lightning Bolt than it did like a Taco Cat or anything. It may be kind of
I can give you that.
It's more probably closest, like, the actual probably closest comparison to give to it is the Woods era Slater Kinney, but I actually didn't mind this album. I thought it was kind of just fun to listen to. I probably wouldn't go back to it on purpose, but you'll probably see me pick it up on Bandcamp or something regardless. And I don't know, I just liked it. That's pretty much it. It's not anything S tier. Won't brag about it to my parents and say, hey, look at this album I listened to. But yeah, had fun.
I don't know. I'm reminded of like Seattle stuff like Sonic Youth. I'm reminded of Dinosaur Jr. I can see a lot of the kind of where some inspiration might come from for them. And I think in general they kind of try to maybe affect a 60s psychedelic kind of bent on some of the songs. So I thought that was kind of inconsistent a little bit. But I didn't particularly care for it as an album. I just thought it was very, like, a lot of the songs were very similar to each other. And having to listen to it and kind of like take notes on it and things was kind of like you were saying, kind of a slog for me, because it was just so much similar stuff. I was running out of things to write about. Like, yeah, this one they change the pitch, they go up an octave, they go up a key, like cool.
Yeah.
But they're like, it's not something that I like I've like other stuff you've picked that's kind of one-offs like this, like Liquids or something. I thought were more interesting. I think Hakusan was more interesting.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
I could agree with that. This is just a fun album to put on in the background.
sure.
I had a
Actually,
plan while we
I think
were.
I'm going to. I should change my comparison. So just very quickly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the vocal styles very much Lightning Bolt with just how kind of muffled they are. But I would actually say the instrumentation kind of, and we'll go back to a request I had in Cope. I think it sounds quite a lot like Death from Above at times, specifically the kind of early stuff with
Yeah, I can
You
see
Are
that.
When I'm a Machine or something like that. And maybe it is a little bit of a kind of like a little bit of its downfall that this album relies a little too heavily in kind of its influences and stuff like that because
Yeah.
it is very similar. And it's like, yeah, I'd probably go back to the Slater Kennys. I'd go back to the Lightning Bolts. I'd go back to the Death from Aboves. But I mean, sometimes albums like this just exist, and I don't think there's really an issue with that.
No,
Yeah.
they're musicians. They're competent in what they're doing. They're having fun. I can't fault them for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Try harder.
There's only so much you can do with a baritone guitar and a drummer.
Yep.
I mean, again, they're not Origami Angel who can put out Game Gang as a duo.
I just love how like last year it was just Dominic discovering how much he loves emo again.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Just wait. Just wait.
How many tickets did you buy to when we were young?
None. That seems like a scam, boy.
Yeah, but how many
Yeah,
tickets?
the Astroworld creators.
Yes.
I got a bad vibe off of that too.
Oh, what do you mean? The fact that they're doing it on 2 stages or something in one night, and every
3.
single night that they're doing it, it's 3 stages, or?
It was 3 when I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like every time they add a night, it's not to give them more space or anything. It's just to same lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it's
My roommate almost went to it.
Jesus.
That's 100% a fucking scam.
I'd go to another.
Oh, yeah.
I'd go to another Glass Beach Home is Where concert before that.
I think
hell
when
yeah.
home. Well, did you actually listen to the whole? I feel like Dominic did. The whole Fantano conversation with Brandon McDonald.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
Yeah,
I
and
did
then
not.
she was talking about the When We Were Young festival, and even she starts to kind of think it's a bit of a I don't think she calls it a scam, but she's very quick to kind of acknowledge that it seems just like solely a cash grab and nothing else.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
appealing to nostalgia, and that only gets you so far, and it doesn't really show a really good sense of this is planned out. Is this going to be safe? I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the type of person because she fucking knows what she's on about when it comes to this shit.
Oh yeah, she's name checking everybody. She's name dropping Stomach Book. She's name dropping Origami Angel. She's name dropping Your Arms Are My Cocoon. Like
Yeah,
she's
so
getting
I feel
everybody
like
in that conversation.
I feel like it's gonna be a fucking it's gonna be a fun event when it happens because we won't get a Fire Festival or an Astrofest level news story, but I reckon we'll get maybe DashCon level.
Oh God.
Ooh.
Just
Have
a bunch of cringe, you know. It's gonna be
Have I
great.
talked about how
I
live,
feel like it might be a couple steps above DashCon, and that's all I'll say.
have I talked about how I live like 40 minutes to an hour away from that hotel?
That's amazing.
Do you ever go there with a ball pit?
I was there for a convention before DashCon happened.
Wow.
So
Well, that's probably the best time, to be honest.
And so it's like I knew about the places they were talking. I knew that room with the ball pit. Damn.
Well, when do we get a kiddie pool full of ball pit balls and go to the parking lot of that place?
I'm sure people have done it. Like
Yeah.
Chicks, remember, you have to piss in that first as well.
Yes. I will piss my pants in the ball pit.
absolutely.
Classic times.
Yeah.
Ugh. But
Life was better when the most controversial thing that the internet seemed to have done, or the most cringe thing that the internet had done, was DashCon.
yeah.
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 This album though, I do think it's bold of Pony Time to try to do Rumors 2 after this.
Yeah.
Did they win?
It's
I'm
Rumors
gonna
2.
assume no.
It's they wrote a sequel to Fleetwood Mac's Rumors.
Like, is it in a similar style, or are they still in the?
The,
I have not
the cover
listened to
album
it.
is a similar style.
Yes.
And it's called The Rumors Are True as a subtitle.
Mm.
I that's A, not where I would go with this band, or at least not where I expect the band to go. B, I don't think this is the band to really go for that unless they really change up their sound.
Yeah.
I don't. Looking by the amount of listeners that they have and everything, I don't think they care.
I mean, I think this band is pretty much retired as of like a few years
Yeah.
ago. Like they're not really
Yeah.
active anymore. The Twitter is being used by one of them as just like a private Twitter at this point. Like,
Yeah.
Still the one person out there going, oh, can we get some fucking more parody time? And they've been doing it for 6 years, and it's been sad.
like there's
Yeah.
one song I remember. I don't remember which one it is because they all kind of start out with like some plucking of the guitar. It's like bum 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 bum.
That is hold up. I believe that is Hex on You.
Yeah, that one's all right. I do like
Let's see how correct Tricks is by giving a quick listen.
I saw the Spotify thing come up on Discord. That's fun.
Oh yeah.
Somewhat correct. I mean, I can also see why Tricks chooses this album.
This is very
There
Tricks.
is very, very, very bassy to start these albums. These
Yeah.
songs.
I
Well,
also,
Tricks, that was the sassiest yeah you've ever fucking done.
I also kind of like Kathleen Hanna. That was a fun song.
Hmm.
The one I go back to.
Yeah,
probably
that's
mostly-
Kathleen Hanna's the one that's got like the most Death from Above influence, I'd say.
And then the one I was like a couple of those I guess I was interested in. Dr. Hamilton I thought was interesting. Like and then Hippie Shit I think was probably my favorite track on here just because it sounded different.
Yeah.
Like I think Hippie Shit on Bandcamp was listed as like free, as in like a bonus track kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I hate sometimes when they do that because in this case it was the best track there, and knowing that's not meant to be there kind of hurts.
I mean, it's on
the
Spotify.
Getta. Yeah, it's the Getta off of No Hitter.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but Getter isn't the best track off No Hitter. It's just one of the best tracks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Best track is still Annie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is good.
I have a soft spot for fuck, I forget it. I met you before.
Since we're talking about it, new Petite League song happening this week.
Yes, I'm dropping everything to listen to it when it
As
drops.
of recording anyway. Floating Blue coming out February 18th.
Yes.
Yeah, Tricks will not sleep until the new Petite League's out.
I wonder if it's
You
an
can-
album thing.
I hope so.
I hope so too. If it's as good as Joyrider is, because I still listen to Joyrider.
Yeah.
That's the
Joyrider's
fucking thing.
great.
I didn't think I'd ever do that with a Petite League album, but here we are.
Well, they said they were made 2 Petite League albums last year, or in 2020 or something like that. So
2020 there was going to be 2 Petite League albums and an EP.
21,
Yeah, unless
maybe.
it's King Gizzard, don't trust them when they say they'll put out this amount of albums in a year.
That's fair, but I mean, like maybe this is kind of at least making good on the other album that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Although, if either of you want to see some absolute true fun, it's watching King Gizzard fans get absolutely pissed that an album that wasn't even announced hasn't been released yet.
Based on what?
So they found pre-orders for Made in Timeland.
Hmm.
So they assumed, this is the release date and everything. This is when it comes out. But King Gizzard hasn't announced anything official for Timeland.
Yeah.
People expected that when the concerts happened, it was supposed to be a free handout with them, but the concerts never ended up happening due to COVID and shit.
Didn't they just release Butterfly 3001?
Yeah, that's a remix album though. Timeland's an
Talk
actual
about remix
proper,
albums.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but Timeland's supposed to be an actual proper Giz album.
Oh,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
sure it'll come out later this year. Right?
They but
released a
it
couple.
never it's never been announced, and like every week it's like, oh, Timeland's coming out tomorrow, and it doesn't come out, and they've been so fucking pissed. It's so fucking funny.
I mean,
That's hilarious.
King Giz isn't Beyonce. They're not Kanye. They're not just gonna drop. I guess they might. I don't know.
They've dropped albums randomly. Gumboot Suit was announced the day before it came out.
Well, that's also the end of them doing the
And the
5
way that it
albums.
was announced was them saying, hey, there's not much time left in a year, is there?
I respect them putting everything out in that year just to make it work.
Yeah.
Like Gumbutsu being kind of like the B-sides, kind of like here's everything else.
Yeah.
We've
Respectable.
we've strayed a long way from Pony Time.
Yeah. Pony Time is fun, and that's really about all there is to say about it.
I'm sure Pony Time was fun in high school.
College.
College.
Favorite's probably Kathleen Hanna. I don't really have a least favorite, but I mean, it's not like my favorite's fucking ST here either. I just like the album.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. I'll agree
It's
with
the
that.
Cope of last year.
I think
Go
Cope
ahead.
is better than this.
Pretty good album. I think this is better than Cope Remixes.
You can believe that. That's fine. I just think Cope is better than this.
You can believe it, you know. Everyone has their own belief.
I don't know how the original Cope and Freeland or Cope and Ponytime. I'd have to think about that, but for Cope Remix and Ponytime's better.
Kathleen Hanna's a great song, or great as far as this album goes, I guess. And Hippie Shit's my other favorite then. Least favorite. I think my least favorite, just on principle, is First Thing in the Morning, You and Me, Hard and Heavy.
Yeah.
Just on principle.
I don't have a least favorite, and I don't really have a favorite. I just really dig this album.
I'm gonna forget about it in a couple months, I think. But that's
that's fair.
I might remember dun 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 dun. That's it.
All right.
Black Country. Black Country. It's the
New
time.
road. New road. New road. New road.
There's this great post on the new Fantana review, which you've completely dodged the review, haven't you? So I'm not
No,
going
I
to
listened
actually
to it.
spoil. Yeah, you've seen the review.
Yeah.
And one of the top comments on there now is one of the fake what Fantano's actually said in the review, kind of thing to make him sound bad. And I'm just getting the exact wording because it's slightly offensive, but it's so fucking funny. Oh god damn! Let me keep scrolling. Here we go. If it leads to a black country, then I'm gonna find a new road. Very poetic, Anthony, but I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Oh my god.
So fuck. Every time now I listen to this album, I just think of that quote, man. Anyway, though.
No, I watched the review. I watched the fan uploaded stream where he reacts to the songs.
He was this close to giving it a 10.
I mean, if we're talking Fantano, I agree that's a 9.
Anyway, new Black Country, New Road. Yes, they released the album a bit over a week ago from recording here.
Pants.
Unfortunately, it's the last one with lead singer Isaac. He's left the band, which sucks because my fucking god, was he probably one of the most interesting vocalists and lyricists that we'd heard in a long time.
But we do have Ants from Up There.
Yep. The more that I listen to this record, I can't be giving it back any more backstory. More I listen to this record, just the more I fucking fall in love with every piece of it.
Yeah, it's really good. I liked for the first time. It was my 4th favorite album last year. This easily beats it.
Fair enough.
Still don't know, but that's also because I for the first time cried a lot. I think, at my current moment of time, I think they're equal. I think, which also means that this is a very, very strong chance of getting my album of the year at the end. If it stays fucking for the first time.
We had to see if there's an album that's better than for you.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
for me, it's I think for the first time it was cool. It was interesting. It had some really interesting instrumentation. I think this goes in I think people are saying it's an extension of that. I think it's a whole new direction.
I fully agree. It's a new direction. I think there isn't a song on here that I like as much as Sunglasses, but I think there are still a lot of fucking songs that I like on here.
Ooh,
I mean,
I don't know. I might like most of these more than Olive for the first time. Instrumental was my favorite track on there.
That's the personal.
Yeah.
A personal.
Although there is one track I do think is their worst song, perhaps.
You're not a big fan of Good Will Hunting, are you?
No.
I disagree. I think it's fine. I know it's got one of those weird. Oh, we got to reference a pop culture.
That's not even the thing.
Artist. Yeah, I didn't think it was the thing, but that's a lot of the things that people have been complaining about that one track about. If there's any complaints I've seen here. as people seem to think that Billie Eilish style is a cringe line, but I mean, seeming as the original lyrics to Basketball Shoes, much more reference Charlie XCX and having wet dreams to her. I think I can excuse Billie Eilish style.
It's still pretty explicit about Charlie. They just don't say XCX.
Oh yeah, it still is, but it's a lot more toned down than what it was. Anyway,
Good Will Hunting has that really weird alarm alert tone thing as the opening note, and I don't like it.
All right.
But that's like my only big complaint about the album is I just don't like Good Will Hunting. I think intro is one of the best.
6 seconds at alarm.
But it's also several times in the song.
Yeah, fair.
But like I have other problems with that song. That's neither here nor there. I think like from the beginning, intro is one of the best intro interstitial tracks to any album I've heard. It's an amazing like just image setting, tone setting. It's what is it, Irish Scottish kind of thing. Like I imagine like a very like pubby, dancey atmosphere.
See, I agree. Where I don't consider this album a 10 at the moment. If it continues to grow on me, maybe a lot of these, because every issue that I have, and I'm sure it's going to be even the same for you with Good Will Hunting, is that all the issues with this album though are still minor. Even if that ends up creating your worst track, I don't think you actually hate a Black Country song though.
No.
Yeah.
No. And intro, I like intro. I really wish it flowed much better into Chaos Space Marine though.
Oh,
it's kind of just there and just harshly like it just stops.
I think
and then starts again, but it's not like a Black Midi way of doing it. It's just happens.
You see the funny thing about that, I was comparing it to Phoebe Bridgers because we listened to that last week and we had a DVD menu in the Garden song and we had a similar discussion there.
Yeah. I do wonder if I had ripped the CD, if it would be different. I've downloaded straight off Bandcamp, which is my way I've been listening, and the Bandcamp version's definitely done that. So,
but I thought Intro into Chaos Space Marine was great. I really liked the way
the actual songs themselves.
Right, no, but I thought it fit perfectly into that what it was doing. I thought it flowed really well.
Yeah,
because that whole beginning of Chaos Space Marine is so kind of abrupt and staccato in a way and weird that it like having it just kind of stop and kind of start up with similar instrumentation is fit for me.
There's only one, so that's one issue that I have. One that's just minor for me, and I could probably get past that. I might move past that and accept it more. The only other issue I have, and I can get past this as well, so maybe one day I will consider this a 10. Maybe I won't, and it will forever stay a 9. This album feels like it ends a lot of times, and sometimes that's good, but sometimes that's a bit like, okay, it's just done that again. Like, and my issue isn't actually with the last tracks doing it, because those are my favorite kind of build-up songs on here. Like the last 3 tracks on here are fucking pure bliss.
Yeah.
But at the start, it oddly has a bunch... Like, I love Concord. Concord's a fantastic track, but it feels like that should be at the ending than it should be at the start.
I can see why it is where it is. I think
it just randomly feels like it's just an ender.
Maybe a more bread song? I don't know. It is a weirdly structured album, but I think they all the songs kind of go in service to Basketball Shoes. Like, I was reading something about how Basketball Shoes was written like before everything else. It was one of their first songs, and a lot of the themes and instrumentation that was in that song were explored in like Concord and Haldern and all of that stuff.
Yeah, well, Basketball Shoes is definitely a song that people have been looking for the actual studio recording and official release for many years, because they've been performing it live for a long time. Like, even I was waiting for it after I saw its existence. I was like, oh, cool, new Black Country, unreleased. Oh. But, like, in saying that, Basketball Shoes is the most ambitious track I think they've released so far, and I think they do it well. I love it. I don't know if it's my favorite. Maybe it's the place where the place where he inserted the blade is probably the most emotional fucking moment on this album, just in his vocals, and it's fucking somewhat chilling, and I fucking love it.
Good morning. What do you think, Trix?
I don't really have much to say. I will say this is probably my favorite this week. I think I enjoyed it better than their first outing. And I for some reason I got a real David Bowie vibe off of it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I can see it too. It's definitely kind of like a Black Star kind of vibe that I get from it, with that kind of like
Yeah,
everything with this kind of long building up, somewhat ambient in kind of a way
yeah,
of its
and his
instrumentation.
voice has a little bit of it too.
I don't see that personally, but I guess.
I can see it a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. You're probably more of a Bowie fan than I am, so
What I
excuse
love,
me, I just burped as well. We're all fucking burping today.
what, what I love is the just leaning into the classical stuff. It leans into a lot of saxophone. Like
Mm.
the saxophones and the flutes on this album are amazing, and all the piano tracks. Oh man,
Have you seen any of the videos of them recording the songs?
no.
No.
Specifically, I think I was seeing it for the place where he inserted the blade, and they record it like all together,
Yeah,
which is the
Huh.
insane part. Like they aren't doing the individual tracks or anything for that. It's not like, oh, we got the drumming now and we'll put that in. Like it's kind of like they're just jamming out when they make this stuff, but that isn't how it sounds on a record. It sounds so structured and everything. It's incredible just how much chemistry they have as a band, which is why it's a
Yeah.
shame that it's kind of being broken up a little bit, but they seem to still have plans to continue this on, move on to another vocalist, and I mean, as I said, like they're retiring all of this, so there'll be songs off here
Mhm.
which won't get played live. I mean,
right.
you might see them played live one day when they figure it out or something like that. They might go, "Oh yeah, let's play Bread Song" or something. I don't know if they've ever played songs like Goodwill Hunting live or anything like that. I know they definitely have played Basketball Shoes live and stuff. That's why people have been waiting for it. But it's kind of crazy that this stuff just comes out and then it's just immediately put in this chapter that the band has to put behind them. And Black Country, just personally, just from this stuff, has become one of my favorite bands now. It's just I've loved fucking everything that they put out as a release.
Yeah,
And
after
it's
this,
already starting to like just kind of crumble, but hopefully it doesn't turn into a full-on destruction. Hopefully they just, I don't know, make
Figure
a
it
new
out.
fucking cookie.
yeah. I think the thing, like, I would love to have an instrumental album from them. I think they would do really, really well.
Mm.
Eh.
Like my
It
one,
would feel weird without Isaac, but I
Right.
don't think it's impossible. I mean, one of the big acts that we've never actually properly covered, but we've all seem to have acknowledged and talked about is Tiger's Jaw, and they had a whole like half their members left, including the vocalist, and then they've ended up managing to continue on. They still play all their previous songs and stuff as well with the new vocalists. I mean, there are many other previous bands out there which they don't even fucking exist technically anymore as they were founded. I think Little River
Yeah.
Band or something is the big one where literally no founding members are in that band.
right?
Sublime
Yeah.
is a big one.
But I think instrumental was the best song off of For the First Time. So there's that. I think Mark's theme is one of the best songs off of here. So I think it's definitely possible to make a whole instrumental album.
Hmm.
Fair enough. And by the way, you're talking about the intro. I think you just love the jazz that they're doing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I thought, I don't know, the sax and the piano on Mark's theme, because it's about Lewis Evans' Uncle Mark, who had died from COVID last year. So I guess it's like a tribute song to him, and I think it was really, really well done. And I'm glad that the band was able to put that in the album, because it's such a classical piece in a way of just like, it's just sax, it's just piano. I think a lot of bands, they'd want to keep pushing forward in the more poppy stuff, and this is a more poppy album than The First Time. They've tried to do a lot of shorter songs and things like that, but I like.
You talk also about how they use a lot of classical, like a lot of classical kind of music or instrumentation, and I think one of the things which is why this album is so good as well is that it's like, despite having all this like classical instrumentation and everything like that, this doesn't sound like any tribute to like 1300s overtures or shit like that. It still sounds quite modern. It just their instrumentation's just, it kind of continued on into its own way. I mean, I guess when there's quite a bit of jazz sounding instrumentation.
Yeah.
in there. So there's bound to always be stuff like that. But it sounds like kind of a mixture of all these different kind of time periods, but yet still sounds so fucking modern. Like the sound in this is fresh as shit.
Like intro is just Pocket Bell's canon to some degree.
Mm.
It's just canon in D. And then, you know, some that comes back in basketball shoes, on I guess snow globes more than basketball shoes, but yeah, it covers so much. But it still sounds so much different than for the first time even, but it still sounds like Black Country New Road primarily because of Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely one of my favorite things that this album does, and it's a concept which I don't think enough artists do in their music, and not everyone needs to do it. Like King Gizzard will put out an album and it will sound with the same vibe and everything the whole way, but it's the concept of contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this album really has it. Like with Concord, you will get these just build-ups and it goes into this big kind of like all the instruments come together and then suddenly goes minimalistic.
Yes.
And everything. And I talked about it specifically, I remember, with the tones, and I reckon with the over-singing. It's like when you've done everything in that kind of style and stuff when she did it, because it was so constantly overused and everything, none of it could have an impact. Nothing could sound so distinct or anything and just go, that's a fucking huge moment or anything like that, because every single fucking second was trying to be, and because every second was trying to be that big fucking sung moment, nothing ended up being that moment. But on here, everything's allowed to breathe to create those fucking moments. Like when the instruments hit at the end of the chorus in Concord, it's fucking just beautiful. It's an actual just eargasm to fucking get. Like the piano is just like very kind of lightly crashing down kind of on it, and then the way that Isaac's voice gets more desperate, but he can easily just go back into this kind of more monotone, I guess is my way of describing it, singing in other places. And there's definitely this kind of idea that singing in a very like uninterested or kind of like way can be bad. I know there was definitely a lot of complaints about that with Pinkish Blue, which is why I also think Backwards was the best song off there, because that had the moment where the singing suddenly kind of got a lot more energetic and emotional in it.
Sure.
And emotional doesn't just mean sad. It's just emotional here means just having the emotions in it.
Sure.
And that's what Isaac's vocals do quite a lot. You will have those moments where it seems like there is no emotion in it, and that doesn't mean that there's no emotion in it at all. It's just how the actual style of the singing kind of sounds. But when you do have those moments which have this kind of big, whether it be very kind of desperate, sad, even if it be a bit more enthusiastic or like optimistic or anything, they pop out a lot more because of it. And I love that that's a constant thing that happens in here, but it's all so well placed. It's an album that allows itself to create its moments rather than trying to force it.
Yes,
and it's fucking beautiful.
Like you got the lyrics of Snow Globes, and then after a while, it's just that line over and over and over again.
Yeah, God of Weather, Henry knows snow globes don't shake on their own.
By the end, he's just shouting it.
Yeah, and we talk about the Fantano's review, and the one thing that seemed to be the only reason he didn't give this a 10, he likes snow globes, but he hated the drums in it.
I love the drums in it.
I love them. I like that we have that mixing kind of in there. Yeah, it's not the greatest on here, but I fucking love snow globes anyway. He
hates fucking the fucking Blue Bannisters album because of songs like Dealer, where Lana Del Rey doesn't sing perfectly.
Yeah.
Where that's the part I love about that, is that she doesn't sing perfectly.
I mean, I'm not trying to put this into an anti-Fantano, because like everyone's in their own views, but like obviously we do it because he's a pretty big reviewer and stuff like that. And I mean,
watch him
again. We were that close to getting another fucking 10. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't even have to give it a 10. I just want to see Fantano give another 10.
Especially this early in the year. Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the thing I guess I'm also just want to mention is just the letter that Isaac left when he left the band. I thought it was very concerning.
Go ahead and mention it if you want.
No, I just like the way he was talking about. I can't remember exactly. I don't have it pulled up in front of me. Just talking about how it's hard to put the guitar in hand and say all these words and
he definitely from what I recall, like reading about, seemed to have some just kind of like struggles with this whole thing, because remember, his lyrics on here are quite fucking personal.
Yeah.
Like I haven't ever gone to a full, outside of Sunglasses. Sunglasses I relate to quite fucking heavily, but not every moment of his lyrics do you relate to, because they are quite personal. That's the whole fucking thing. But and I fucking love it. I love that this dude's like just kind of putting out his thoughts on paper, and we're just and we're getting them in such a a poetic way. Like lyrics are fucking poetry here.
Yeah,
and
he's talking about Billie Eilish and Warhammer and spaceships and sci-fi, and it's all this really like classical, like fucking. I think this is a masterpiece. This is something that should be in like the canon of like what music is in this time and this place. And like he has lyrics that I think some people would just find really corny because they're mentioning pop culture and they're more Gen Z than the instrumentation really leads on. But I think that works.
It never feels like that he's actually ever doing these as just kind of like, oh, look how cool I am. I noticed. As someone who does this quite a lot when I talk and stuff like that, I've grown up listening to a lot of music. Unfortunately for me, sometimes all I've been able to do whilst everyone else is doing stuff with themselves is listen to music. So naturally, like that, when I relate to stuff, I relate to the music that I've heard. I talk and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Isaac's done that. Maybe I can't speak for his whole life or anything, and I'm not going to try to, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just does something similar where his way of describing it is just describing things that have happened, have just naturally been describing music and stuff. Like I've described people that I haven't liked, or like the rich kid asshole kind of shit, as Fred Astaire, not based off Fred Astaire the actor, but based off San Cisco's Fred Astaire. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a similar way for Isaac. It's just like, I'm not really good at describing other things than the stuff that I kind of, than the stuff that I truly know. So if I, would I say, hey, this person seems kind of like gothic or emo or something, when he's not really gothic himself or anything, it doesn't like that. And Billie Eilish has definitely put out styles that have been a bit emo/gothic,
right?
Especially if you see that. So I don't know exactly what Billie Eilish style is. That's also why I like it, because it's very kind of ambiguous as well. It leaves to the imagination, but you kind of get it. And he's just being honest here. I think anyone who kind of just thinks this is just some shitty pop culture thing he's trying to do for the whole look, I get it, that isn't really fucking listening.
Yeah.
I like that he's kind of marrying though that that honesty with really good songwriting, with a band that can spin a song that fucking gold. Like I don't know how to it should be more of an accepted thing, because like this is a band where if you didn't think they would have it, like they wouldn't, like they might not, like I don't know, I'm struggling to describe what I'm trying to say.
Imagine that Weezer could have actually been a really fucking top tier band if we didn't bully them after Pinkerton. We haven't learned from our mistakes.
Not yet, not ever.
Someone who makes a song like The Place Where He Inserted the Blade, are you really gonna go after him for mentioning Warhammer? Like, really? Like, what is the purpose? Like, what's the point of that? With a song as good as that, so what?
I couldn't get anyone who has to go at that kind of stuff. I mean,
he's talking about basketball shoes. Like, you gonna go in for basketball shoes? He's fucking talking about sports.
People do think, like, I've definitely seen criticisms of lyrics and stuff beforehand where it's like, if you don't like reference to something that was in the fucking because like people make references to fucking Greek gods and shit all the time, but that's technically pop culture. Yeah, it's not what we consider pop culture, but it's a culture. It's popular. What fucking more else do you want?
Yeah, it's pop culture.
Like, you know who else sang about basketball shoes? Fucking Macklemore. Fucking Wings.
What?
The song Wings is so much worse than this song. It's a fine song on its own, I guess. But like, referencing something or something that's popular, something that's accepted, does not make the artist.
Yeah.
Like, Jeff Mangum's over there singing on Anne Frank for a whole album.
Yeah, I feel like we can say Anne Frank was in pop culture though.
But like, that. You have,
I see people constantly go on about how they fucking love Aphrodite or some shit about like, oh yeah, I'm fucking the Greek god of war and shit like that. I'm fucking praise and pretend. I don't see anyone sane ever try to pretend to be Anne Frank.
we have the Middle East talking about Black Death 1349. Like that's some medieval history shit. That's historical nerd shit. It's like having a song about Napoleon.
Yeah.
It's like you talk about Metallica doing like Hammer of the Gods or whatever the fuck.
Orion.
So like yeah, there's a lot of different ways to spin pop culture references, and like even Petili does pop culture references.
Yeah.
I think it's such a silly thing, and it's not a good complaint, especially about this album. Like I can accept that you think, oh, lines like the making lunch line and placing inside of the blade is a weird thing, sure, but just shitting on it because the song is called Good Will Hunting, shitting on it because it's a Chaos Space Marine, no.
So it's a fantastic fucking record, and
yes,
I do hope this isn't the end of Isaac for music.
No,
I even if he never comes back with Black Country, and I don't, as much as we talk about Isaac and stuff like that, he's not the only member. He's not the only reason why this is good. I can't name any other members. That's just kind of how Vocalist works. Sorry, but everyone who's fucking contributed to this has fucking nailed everything that they've done. There's no moment where I go, oh yeah, this is just some really shitty music playing or anything. Like fucking sax comes in perfectly. The fucking violins are goddamn great. Drumming, all that. Everyone who's contributed to this album, and you said before you'd want to see an instrumental album. I don't think they're going to do that if they've already kind of decided that they're gonna pass off vocals a bit more to forgot what her name was. I think they're going for the female fronted though.
They've said a couple different names, so it's hard to know yet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, don't think we're going to quite get Dominic's wish, but maybe it could be a bit more instrumentally focused. Obviously, the dream would be to see Isaac come back to this, because it's working.
You know, if we go, if we compare it to Neutral Milk Hotel, he just has to release his Live at Jittery Joe's now.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I do respect Isaac for leaving for mental health reasons. If he thinks this is the best way to help him deal with that, then that is his decision, and I do wish him the best. Good album. I don't have a least favorite.
Body of work.
Yeah.
Don't think I would ever have a least favorite off this.
Least favorite's Good Will Hunting. Favorite's The Place Where He Inserted the Blade and Concord. And Mark's theme. Fix.
Don't really have a least favorite. I don't really have a favorite. I just enjoyed this album.
I mean, favorites definitely the last three. I mean, I love Chaos and Concord as well. The last three, just fuck.
I want to bring back something we did a couple years ago on the show. We had to pick one song for people to listen to from this whole week.
Place that inserted the blade without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think we're pretty unanimous on that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even if it's not even if I'm not sure if it's my favorite, it's definitely the best summary of the album.
Yes. So I'll say my 3, 2, 1. 3's Pony Time, 2's Freeland, 1's fucking Black Country New Road.
Yeah, 3's gonna be Cope Remixed, no surprise. 2's gonna be Pony Time, and then it's no surprise. Number 1, I'd genuinely be surprised if I get an album that beats this year, but let's see what happens. It's still very early.
Yeah. Mine is the same as Ritz.
You said and I'm like, is that just you just fully agreeing? And
yeah, I pretty much fully agree with you on the
3 to 1.
The 3 to 1.
I accidentally got number 3 when I'm trying to do number 3 for next week.
You wanna do your joke now?
What do you get when you remix Cope by Freeland?
Depression.
It's gonna be like Poke or Soap or something like that.
How about
it's gonna be Camp Cope?
The album Beneath Medicine Tree by Copeland with the song When Finally Set Free.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, we're doing Beneath Medicine Tree by Copeland.
Yeah,
sounds
fair
good.
Enough.
You want me to go next, or?
Yeah, Jakes, you can go. I haven't fully decided
All right, I was initially gonna do 3 small EPs, but I decided not to, and the album I'm gonna be doing is a 2 EP collection from Shaky Graves. I'm going to be doing Shaky Graves and the Horse He Rode In On, I believe it's called. Give me a second. It is Shaky Graves and the Horse He Rode In On, Nobody's Fool, and the something blues, Donor Blues.
Cool.
Yeah, the 18 song collection.
It's not that long, trust me. Yes.
Well, apparently it is.
It's got a lot of tracks, but it doesn't last long. It's a short album, fairly short album.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I might go straight away from the Australians again because I seem to be doing that. You know what? I'll get you two's agreement on it before I pick it. But last year, I seemed to pick a lot of the kind of Midwestern emo or fifth wave emo acts out there, and it seemed to really work with you two. So, do you want me to continue on with that, or do you want me to go into something new?
Please continue on. Copeland's like third wave
continue
emo.
on.
If we're continuing on, then I think we'll go to we'll go with some more violin shit because the one that everyone's talking about now is the new Foxtails record. I already forgot what it's called, Fawn. I think we'll move on to that and see how that one goes.
Okay.
All right.
Another 2022 album from you.
Yeah, I'd like to pick recent albums.
Alrighty then.
Until then, though, I have been irrelevant. You can catch me on my website, ritalentforkids.github.io. I already fucked that up. I also have a YouTube channel that's in the description below. I got nothing else to link, but I do have a very shitty music project, Desk Slamming Fun, which I'm promoting on the Dissonant Waves Twitter, which is literally me banging my desk with my hands with a $5 harmonica I found and using these coins.
Excellent.
To make shaker noises, so you can already tell it's the worst piece of crap you've ever heard.
Oh yeah.
It should be out by the time this video is, so give it a listen off the Bandcamp.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm Dominic. You can catch me online at Twitter at DACICHOCKI. Currently, I am going to be featured in the new Lost and Cult magazine, Lock On, issue 3. There's a Kickstarter as a recording that's going on for the new issue. It's going to be over by the time we put up this episode, but I'm going to be in it. I'm writing an article about Shinya Nishigaki. It's a good time. If you like video game shit, please read it.
Hell yeah. I have been Trix. You can catch me on Twitter at procrastinaut_. That's like procrastinating astronaut. And then an underscore at the end of it. And yeah, that's all I care to plug right now. I can't. My brain's twisted around.
I switch up my plugs. I got to keep it interesting.
So I want to mention as well with the Foxtails. I think it's our first official foray into screamo.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
I mean, we had some screamo here and there.
Yep, I think we've had songs of screaming and shouting, but I don't think we've had a full screamo record yet.
Not yet, I don't think. But that's cool. I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
Trix doesn't sound as thrilled, but
yeah, it's I'm sorry. I'm
high.
Yeah.
Could have gone. I think the one you expect me to choose is the Your Arms Are My Cocoon, which would have also been the first foray into screamo as well.
That is actually the one I expect you to pick. Since he was there with the Homeless Wear concert.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just to recap,
pick
then,
2022.
Doing Foxtails Fawn, Copeland's Beneath Medicine Tree, and Shaky Graves and the Horse He Rode In On, which has a couple EP titles in it as well. But yeah, that's what that is. That's gonna be it for us then. Dissonant Waves continues on. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good night.
Alrighty then.